Hello everyone, welcome to another episode with Greyline Overland. In this episode, we're heading out to Superstition Mountain. And before we get started with everything, I wanted to say that I do apologize for the specks that are on the camera. That was not intentional by any means, and we didn't see it in whenever we were actually filming. But thankfully it is not throughout the whole thing. So, getting back to it, we are out here at Superstition Mountain with San Diego four-wheelers. They're a great club, and they actually take care of the trails out here at Superstition Mountain. They've adopted these trails. They've actually put in and gotten grants from BF Goodwrench to take care of these trails, and they're the ones responsible for the signage that you see whenever you go out there. And by the way, they do have scannable barcodes that you can use to get the GPX files for out there as well, and it gives you a good tool for the routes and stuff like that are out there. When you're out here, be sure that you pay attention, because there are a lot of side-by-sides, four-wheelers, dirt bikes, you name it, because this is definitely a haven for those kind of guys. So you want to be careful whenever you're in the areas where they are, because it's really easy to run up on them or have them run up on you. So just be really cautious about that. Here we have Steve, and he is giving us our instructions for the trails and everything like that, and we're about to head out, and we're doing Black Cat Trail. Black Cat is the trail that actually got ranked as best trail, and got them the grant from BF Goodwrench for taking care of the trails and putting up the signage and whatnot. So go out there and run Black Cat. I believe this one is east to west, and it is a blast to run. Has some really good crawling sections and things like that. Nothing super difficult, but it's definitely not like something that you want to do without a group or without a couple of guys with you, just in case you need recovery or have something happen. The rocks out here can cut your tires if you're not careful, so be aware of that, because there are some sharp rocks out here. Just be cautious with that. Always have you a spare tire, because this is the kind of trails that you definitely want to make sure that you have a spare tire for. But all in all, this is a great trail system, and if you like a little crawling and you like the desert, this is the place for you. Hey guys, if you're enjoying this video, please consider hitting that subscribe button to support us in that way, and hit the bell so that you're notified every time we put out a new video. While I do not think that this trail is at all super difficult, it is on the advanced side. So beginners, be sure that you've got someone out there that knows what they're doing and can help to guide you along the way, because this is an advanced trail, and it does present a lot of tip over spots and things like that you might actually run into, where you could actually get yourself into a real hairy situation. So don't forget to take an experienced buddy out there. If you're new to the sport, you want to make sure that you've got someone that can give you good guidance. Like you see right here, Mike, I'm actually not doing a good job of guiding him right here, because right here I should be using verbal commands, and instead I was using hand gestures, which is because Mike tends to think I'm yelling at him whenever I'm giving him verbal commands, because I do have a pretty loud voice. But in the same sense, I still should have been using verbal commands because when he gets up in the air, he can't see my hand gestures. And so keep that in mind whenever you are out and you're giving direction for someone, that they can't always see what you're doing.
Follow down. Keep left. There you go. Just finagle it a little bit. You got it. There you go. Keep coming. Keep coming. Keep going. Right here. Yep. Go slow. A little driver. A little driver. There you go. Nice, man. Is it not light? I think maybe it is. Yeah. Got it. Walk right up that. Just a little bit past you. Alright, you got it. Never mind. Yeah. A little. Just a little. Yeah, great. Oh, really? And I think alike on that matter. Yep, stay with it. Little that way. There you go. Yep. Go driver. Passenger. There you go. Go straight. Go straight. tailgate, it blocks out the wind perfectly. So I changed out the side because I thought this thing was getting low because this side wasn't cooking really well. It turns out this burner must not be doing everything it's supposed to be doing. This one's actually cooking a lot better. I changed out the bottle anyway. Evidently, I forgot the spatula, so the fork will work. The smaller skillets that you take with you camping won't really accommodate a full-size piece of bacon, so I cut them in half in order to cook them in the smaller skillet. I don't know if y'all noticed that whenever you buy, no, this is a home skillet, which we packed in there because that's what we had handy. But the camping skillets are usually 10 inches or less a lot of times, and you really need a 12-inch skillet in order to cook a piece of bacon in whole, and actually have it cook. Well, and not to mention the fact that these burners are pretty small, so a smaller skillet actually is better for it, because that way you got the full thing is heated instead of just part of it. So by cutting the bacon in half, you actually make it to where you can use that smaller skillet and not have any issues. So this Tech Sport, it's okay for like in the tent when we're making coffee, and actually heats up the tent really well. But the wind is blowing in, even though it's not hitting directly, it's still affecting the flame a good bit. I would say that something a little bigger with more BTUs and maybe a windscreen would probably work out a little better, because right now it's cooking really slow still. And like I said, this is not a huge amount of BTUs or anything like that, so that probably has a lot to do with it too. It's only $25, but it works pretty good for what it was. We're planning on getting like a Scottle or something like that in the future. Cheap battery. Managed to maintain the refrigerator with barely even moving the meter on as far as how much battery power we've got. So it did really well as far as maintaining through the night just on the battery. So if you're on a budget, you don't really have to worry about that. You've got a good battery. I wouldn't recommend that if you don't have an AGM.
So in this clip, I do have audio, but the audio is horrible, so I'm just going to tell you what's going on here. So I had to move the stove into the Jeep because the wind had gotten so bad. In case you can't see the American flags in the background over there, it is really kicking up. And it is not allowing me to cook that bacon on the tailgate table because the wind is coming up under it and actually blowing the flame out. It's actually blowing that hard. The wind was real bad, so you couldn't hear the voice either, so I'm doing the voiceover. And I'm thinking that I can do it with the window up. Right here, I decide that no, I actually have to put the window down in order to do it. So it's quite a task, actually, to finish off this bacon and to cook the eggs and everything under here. But I end up getting it done, and in no way do I think that this is safe, but I stayed here and monitored it the entire time to make sure that nothing was going to catch on fire or anything like that. But the good thing is that the Jeep smelled like bacon for the rest of the day. So, win-win for me on that part, because I love the smell of bacon in the morning.
Bacon is getting close to done. Like by closing that off, boom, it heated up super fast. I'll have to pop it open and put the eggs in. We put our eggs in this to keep them from getting all busted and smashed and everything along the way. It works really well. Just a little jar. Alright, breakfast is served.
After we eat, I clean up and get on the trail again and just kind of do a little beating around in the morning. Ashley didn't go with me, so I didn't really film or anything like that. She wasn't feeling well, so I just let her stay there while I went out and rode for a little while, and then we packed it up and headed home. But this does it for our edition of Gray Line Overland. And I really hope that you decide to support us by hitting that subscribe button and hit the bell so you get notified. Until next time, I hope to see you on the trail.